Good day, everybody. It's Angelo from Daily Vitamoves, and I'm standing next to a sculpture here called Unity, made by Bruce Beasley. And I'm happy I can unite with you through this video to introduce another three-part video series that we're going to be doing. This is going to be on hip and quad stretches. So it's a common issue, and so that's why we're making these three-part series, is to get different angles and different ways to release the tightness in the front of the hips and in the front of the thighs in your quadriceps muscles. What can happen is that when these muscles are tight, they can really predispose us to knee injuries such as ACL or menisci tearing, and also it can misalign the kneecap, the patella, and that can cause lateral patellar tracking or chondromalacia, where the cartilage under the kneecap starts to wear down. So to avoid all of that, we want to first assess to see if you really need to stretch your quads. So go ahead and do this assessment move right now. All right, while standing, you want to just bend one knee, bring your foot behind you and grab it with your hand and try to press it to your buttock here. Okay, so a couple of things. You want to be able to stand up tall while doing this. Your knee should be pointing straight to the ground. If you have to bend your knee, or if you have to bend your body to the side or bend it forward, and you're not able to bring your foot towards your buttock, then this indicates that you would definitely benefit from these quad stretches. If you weren't able to reach back and grab your foot, if you had trouble doing that, and if you had to bend your body, or if your thigh wasn't pointing directly towards the ground, then yes, you definitely want to consider doing these three stretches that we'll be going through. The first one today is a good one to start with because you can control the amount of tension or stretch that you place on your quads, and it doesn't really require a lot of stretching in the front of the hip, which can increase the tension when we get to that. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna kneel on the ground, sit back on our heels, and reach our hands back a little bit. And what I'm gonna think of is just lifting my hips and squeezing my buttock muscles, okay? And then I'm gonna slowly come down and come back to sitting. So we're just gonna do several repetitions of that. So here are the details. There are two positions you can experiment with. One is bringing our feet together and then bringing our knees together, so our shin bones are coming as close together as possible. And then we're going to hold that position as we do the movement. Okay. The other position is if we open up our knees a little bit wider, and again you can play around with the width here, and we do it that way. Okay, lifting up, coming back down. Okay, so as you do this, obviously some of you may not be comfortable in this position, so you can sit on a pillow or something to gap the knee. In turn, you're going to need maybe a stack of books on each side, or something that you can reach back to place your hands on, if you're not able to bring your hands down onto the ground. Okay, so I'm actually using the ball of my hands because that allows me to sit up taller. To use the flat of my hands, of course, it's going to cause a little bit more stretch in the front here. So that's a little bit more advanced. So if you're able to, you can go ahead and do that. And this is what we're going to do. So you're going to think of pressing your body away from the ground, and then you're going to slowly begin to lift your hips, and then try to accentuate that by squeezing your buttock muscles. Okay, so this is not getting so much of a stretch here in the front of the hips, a little bit, but you'll notice around your knees, some of you may feel that more with this stretch. Okay, so this is what we want to do. You just want to go up as high as you can comfortably go, slowly come back down. Okay, rest a little bit. If you need to come back up, take a breather. Then you're going to come back again. If you want, you can reach back a little bit more. Okay, press your body away from the ground, lift your hips, starting to squeeze your buttocks. Okay, so a big plus to this is that we're also able to stretch a little bit here in the front of the shoulder. So make sure that's not uncomfortable or painful to you when you do that. To get a little bit more advanced now, we want to think of kicking our legs straight underneath us. Okay, so after we have lifted our hips up, starting to squeeze our buttocks, now we want to put some pressure on the ground with our feet pressing into the ground as if we're going to try to kick them straight. Okay, so that's going to add more stretch. So again, just start slowly and add just as much as you're comfortable with. Hold that for a second or two, slowly come down. There you go. So practice this move every day until we get to the second video in this series next week. If you found this movement helpful and you know somebody that can use it, please feel free to share this with your friends and family. And here's to making moves that nourish your life. See you next week.